For centuries, the name Machiavelli has carried both admiration and fear. Some call him the father of political realism, others call him the master manipulator. But beyond politics, there's something deeper in his writings, something that touches every part of human life. Niccolò Machiavelli understood human nature better than almost anyone else in history. And what he saw in people, our motives, our fears, our hunger for approval and power, remains as true today as it was in Renaissance Italy. The reason most people still don't understand Machiavelli is because they only know him through reputation. They think Machiavellian means evil, manipulative, or cruel. But the real Machiavelli wasn't a villain. He was a man who looked at the world without illusions. He saw people as they are, not as we wish they were. And that's why his insights are timeless. His work, especially The Prince, was not a guide for tyrants. It was a survival manual for those who live in a world where human emotions, power, and ambition rule everything. If you read Machiavelli carefully, you'll see that he wasn't trying to corrupt people, he was trying to wake them up. He believed that most people fail in life not because they are weak, but because they misunderstand how the world truly works. They assume others think like they do, honest, loyal, rational, but they don't. Machiavelli saw through the masks, and his lessons on human nature can still change how you approach power, success, and relationships today. Let's explore what Machiavelli knew, and why most people still ignore it. He believed that people are driven by self-interest before anything else. Even when they appear generous, kind, or noble, their actions are often guided by personal benefit. That doesn't mean everyone is evil. It just means that our decisions are emotional first, logical second. We love what benefits us, and we avoid what threatens us. Machiavelli observed that people are loyal only until it stops being convenient. Friends become rivals. Followers turn against leaders. Love turns into resentment. This wasn't cynicism, it was clarity. He once wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous." It sounds harsh, but he wasn't insulting humanity. He was describing the patterns that repeat through history. Look at modern society, politics, business, even social media. People praise others when they're rising, but abandon them when they fall. Success attracts loyalty, not the other way around. Machiavelli knew that understanding this truth gave you power. Because once you stop expecting others to act out of pure goodness, you start making wiser decisions. Another thing he understood deeply is that perception is more powerful than truth. This is one of the hardest lessons of human nature. Most people believe that if you are good, honest, and hardworking, others will naturally see your value. But Machiavelli warned that this is rarely the case. The world judges by appearances, not by intentions. In The Prince, he said it's more important to appear virtuous than to actually be virtuous. Why? Because people can't see your heart. They only see your actions and your confidence. He didn't mean you should be fake or deceitful. He meant that truth alone is not enough. You must learn to present it. A leader, a business person, or even a friend who understands this can influence others more effectively than someone who blindly trusts that their honesty will speak for itself. In simple terms, Machiavelli taught that how people feel about you often matters more than what's actually true about you. He also understood that fear is more reliable than love. This is one of his most famous ideas, and often the most misunderstood. He didn't say, "Be cruel." He said, "If you must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved." Why? Because love depends on others. It's unpredictable. Fear, on the other hand, gives stability. When people love you, they might betray you out of jealousy, emotion, or changing circumstances. But when people respect, or even fear, your strength, they think twice before acting against you. This doesn't apply only to rulers or kings. It applies to every area of life. Think about the workplace. If you try to please everyone, you'll soon be ignored. But if you set firm boundaries, people take you seriously. Machiavelli's wisdom is about balance. The ability to be kind but not weak. To be respected, not feared without reason. He knew that kindness without strength is often exploited. Another secret Machiavelli understood about human nature is that people are slaves to routine and emotion. We like to believe we make rational choices, but most of our behavior is guided by habits and instincts. That's why change feels so difficult. Machiavelli advised leaders, and by extension, anyone who wants influence, to understand the emotions of others before trying to change them. People rarely change because of facts. They change because of how something makes them feel. He would say, don't fight human nature, use it. Instead of demanding people be honest, make honesty in their interest. Instead of expecting loyalty, reward it. Instead of trying to prove you're right, make others want to agree with you. This is how real influence works. Not by control, but by understanding the silent rules that guide behavior. One of Machiavelli's most powerful insights is about opportunity. He believed that fortune favors those who act boldly. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they hesitate. He compared fortune to a river, unpredictable, sometimes violent, but controllable by those who build dams and channels before the flood comes. In life, this means preparation and courage. Waiting for the perfect moment is a mistake. It may never come. Machiavelli admired those who took calculated risks, who dared to move when others froze in fear. He also understood that change is constant, and those who fail to adapt become powerless. Many people cling to old strategies even when the world evolves. They want stability, but life never stays still. Machiavelli advised leaders to stay flexible, to act according to circumstances, not traditions. In modern life, that means being willing to learn, to reinvent yourself, to question what once worked but no longer does. Adaptability, he said, is the highest form of intelligence. What Machiavelli knew about human nature is that power, in any form, always exposes truth. Give someone authority, and you'll see who they really are. Take it away, and you'll see who your real friends were. Most people can handle failure, but few can handle success. Power magnifies the inner self. The weak become cruel, the wise become fair. Machiavelli warned that if you want to know someone's heart, don't listen to their words. Watch what they do when they think no one is watching. He also saw that people crave belonging more than freedom. Most will trade independence for comfort, approval, or safety. That's why manipulation works. Because it doesn't always come through force, but through subtle promises. Machiavelli understood that true freedom begins when you stop seeking approval and start seeing clearly. He said that the person who understands human nature can control those who do not. That's not about domination. It's about awareness. At the core of Machiavelli's wisdom lies one essential idea. Power begins with self-mastery. If you can't control your own emotions, desires, and impulses, you will always be controlled by others who can. Most people are ruled by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of being wrong. Machiavelli believed the greatest victory is mastery over yourself. Because when you understand your own weaknesses, no one can use them against you. He once said that fortune favors the bold, but only when the bold are disciplined. Impulsive courage without control leads to disaster. The wise person is both lion and fox, strong enough to defend themselves, clever enough to avoid traps. This metaphor captures Machiavelli's entire view of human nature. Strength alone isn't enough. Intelligence alone isn't enough. You must combine the two, power and wisdom, to survive and succeed in an unpredictable world. And yet, for all his sharp observations, Machiavelli wasn't hopeless. He believed in human potential. He admired those who could rise above fear, who could see reality and still act with purpose. He believed that by studying people, their patterns, motives, and illusions, you could live a more effective life. He didn't write for kings alone. He wrote for anyone brave enough to see truth as it is. Today, Machiavelli's lessons are more relevant than ever. In an age of information, manipulation, and constant distraction, understanding human nature is the ultimate advantage. The one who sees clearly, who isn't fooled by appearances or emotions, can navigate any situation with confidence. So, what did Machiavelli know that most people still don't? He knew that people are not purely good or bad. They are complex, emotional, and self-interested. He knew that success doesn't come from idealism, but from clarity. He knew that those who master perception, emotion, and timing shape the world, while those who ignore these forces are shaped by it. In the end, Machiavelli's wisdom isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the game we're all already playing. The question is not whether you play the game, but whether you play it well. The moment you open your eyes to how people truly think and act, you gain freedom. Freedom to respond, to lead, to live with awareness instead of illusion. That's what Machiavelli knew about human nature, and that's what most people still don't.